I know.
Yeah, io dico che
Yeah.
Nikki, thumbs up on the sunglasses. Happy.
Well, it's almost.
My son got him those sunglasses.
Oh, nice.
Do you know when my dad's real birthday is? Today.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, because your birthday. Well, 13.
Well, a full life is to the age of 70, and then it's a chance to start over.
Oh, so after 70, so maybe 4 years.
There's also seven. That's a 4. And 13 years later, you're just. So I gotta give him money too. I gotta give him a hell of a lot of money. I know. I think a buddy's been through all these years. Oh, they're closed. I'm sorry. No. Sorry, they closed it.
Thank you.
What a coincidence, all that jives today. What did I tell you about time? And then they got to crack around with all these electric. Which is basically like this is the Orthodox and don't have any of that stuff. Get rid of that crap. No? Good Shabbat. What? No, Byron didn't kind of like brought him because they pulled up. Put him in the pocket. Byron bought him. The door here, one here. Right here, right here. Here, I'll take it. Actually, he'll take it. Here.
Me too. Another one?
Need another one. You made your load lighter. There you go. Look at all this food. I used to go to the back of the book. No. No, you're not. You just got to the point. I would go to the back of the book. So now I'm going to. And like, well, and no, you call it flip though. Read the book yet? Yeah, oh yeah. Then they would purposely ask questions that weren't in the flip book. You know, I have a little kid was adopted. How many years? But I was responsible for anyway, yeah, he and I have engaged in a project. And I told him that I told him a true story. I said, you know, when I was in college, I did not know. You didn't know what's good. No, I explained it. I explained it. But I said I didn't read them because I thought it was cheating. And so I never read them. But since that time, I realized it's not, gathering as much information as you can. Way, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I showed him how to access systems online. For the book. And he actually used it and found it a whole lot smarter.
Everything he did, that was the secretary.
Of course I did.
Yes. Was the money.
No.
So I teach them to have a. Where they spin for the.
Okay, Max, let's get you guys get your colleagues, huh?
What is it called? Label. And how.
I think so. No, the kids are gonna wear them, so. Matt, did you bring out the mics that I have?
Sure. So, well, can you- And it's really fun. I do. Stop and Shop. And it's so lovely. Stop and Shop. I did a yellow one. See what we're like. I give I give
By the pillar.
It did look like it. We just read page 92.
Oh, I see. How? Yeah, that's okay.
Stop and Shop. Stop and Shop.
No, that's good.
Hello.
No, this is for just a general.
There are colleagues over there.
Max has one of them on, and the other one.
I've been looking on Amazon for writing. And
Then you need the writing style.
yeah.
Okay, that would be.
Yeah, I haven't started with an author.
She's the main style.
You mean the copyright?
Copy.
Yeah.
And, copy. That's a-
Well, it is a style. So it's like.
I still think it's copy. But then either they're too old to write. Yeah. So.
A-L-K-I.
Yeah. One of them is standing right over there.
Run it fast.
Anyway, I've been looking at Amazon, that's a number of work process. And I have no idea what's what is particularly all about that stuff.
Are you a good pet guy?
Who's that?
I just closed this one up.
That's one of them. Tell me where you did that. I don't know. I mean,
Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 la, lie, 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 la, lie, lie, lie. Yai, lie, lie, yai, la, lie, lie, lie. Yai, lie, la, lie, 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 la, lie, 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 la, lie, lie, lie. Yai, lie, lie, yai, la, lie, lie, lie. Hey, yai, la, 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 yai, la, 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 yai, la, 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 yai, lie, lie. Yai la 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 la, yai la 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 la, yai la 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 la, ya la 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 la, yai la 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 la, yai yai la la la, yai la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai, lie, lie, yai, lie, lie, lie. Shabbat shalom, everybody, and welcome on this beautiful Shabbat morning. A few things as we get started. So first of all, everybody, for those who are here for the first time, maybe anybody at a bar bat mitzvah for the first time, friends, this is the book. For those not used to using books that go in Hebrew as well as English, the book looks like it's backwards. The book goes from right to left instead of left to right. Actually, the book's forwards. English is backwards because Hebrew came first. But you'll get used to that over the course of the morning. If you have not yet done so, this is the time to turn off your phones, your electronic devices. It's been a while since I've had to say that, since this is our first Shabbat morning service back in person with everybody. So it's a beautiful day, a time to celebrate, and again, so that we can be fully present in body and soul and in spirit, we ask that you turn off the distracting devices and invite you to be in the presence of community. And to please, it's not a performance, you know, a bar bat mitzvah is a celebration, and we want you to join with us as you feel comfortable in the singing and participating with me and with Max and Maddie as well. We'll begin on page 209. Ma tovu alecha Yaakov mishkanotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu alecha Yaakov mishkanotecha Yisrael. Bani berov chastecha Avo betecha, eshtacha ve'elecha koshecha, be'yiratecha, ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael. Adonai ahavti mehon betecha, u'mekom mishkan kevodecha, Bani ashtacha ve'echra, evrecha lifnei Adonai osi, ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael. Bani tefilati lecha, Adonai et ratzon, Elohim berov chastecha, Anani b'amed yishecha, ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael. So we give thanks for our bodies and for our souls as we begin the new day, for the fact that we're able to get out of bed and to be awake and to be alive and to begin each day with a fresh start, page 291 and 292 for the body and for the soul. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yitzar et ha'adam b'chokhmah u'v'rabo nekavim nekavim chalulim chalulim. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, how well we are aware one of our bodies, some functions to fail, we would lack the strength to sustain life before you. Baruch atah Adonai rofecho basar u'machli la'asot. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. 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 Ata verata, ata yitzarta, ata nefata bi, ve'ata mishamra bekirbi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Kol zman shan shama bekirbi, modani lefanecha. Adonai Elohai ve'Elohei avotai ve'imotai, Ribon kol ha'ma'asim adon kol ha'neshamot. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Baruch atah Adonai asher biyado nefesh kol chai uruach kol besar ish. Page 293, and I'm going to turn things to Maddie.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasafivina levhachin ben yom uven laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Sokei Kufuvim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokei haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechim misadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arulim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanotim le'aed koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Elohim she'namei u'shimane afapai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'sani b'tzelem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'sani b'achorim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'sani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'gvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asot b'divrei Torah.
It's 297. Adonai, our God, make the words of your Torah sweet to us and to the house of Israel, your people, that we and our children may be lovers of your name and students of your Torah. Baruch atah Adonai hamelamed Torah le'amo Yisrael. 298. These are things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world while the principle remains in the world to come. And they are honoring one's parents, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer and making peace among people. The Talmud Torah keneged kulam, but the study of Torah encompasses them all. Page 302, a psalm for the Shabbat day. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot la'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Lehagid baboker chasdecha, ve'emunatecha balelot, ale asur v'ale navel, ale higayon bechinor. Mezmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot la'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Yisamachtani Adonai b'fo alecha, b'mahaseh yadecha aranen, magadlu ma'asacha Adonai, me'odam kumachshevotecha. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון. צדיק אתה המהר יפרח כארז בלבנון יזכה שתולים בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו עוד ינובו בשיבה דשנים ורעננים יהיו להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי צורי ולא עוולת בו. Page 306, Psalm 150. The psalm speaks of praising the Holy One with music, with instruments. It ends, Kol Anishama Hallelujah. Let the soul of all life sing praise to the Holy One. Hallelujah, 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 el bekacho, hallelujah, birki auzo, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 take our shofar. Hallelujah, never let him know. Hallelujah, tofu ma'ako. Hallelujah, minim lugam. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, b'tziltzalei shama. Hallelujah, b'tziltzalei truah. Kol shama, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Page 310. Ha'el b'tatzumot u'zachag shochen ad marom v'kadosh shemo Mahalot Habit Yisrael 311 Yishtabach Shimcha Ve'ahad Mautenu Baruch atah Adonai Melech Gadol b'tishbachot Elodot Adon Niflaot Abochem b'shirei Zimra Melech Elchei Ha'olamim. Continue on page 312 with Katz and we'll and then I'll turn things over to Maddie.
Yikra, yikra, shmei rabba.
Amen.
Ba'amid yivrachir teva mikmalchute.
V'chaye kol yomechon, u'chaye Yehovah Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, ubizman kari. Bimram, amen. Yeshmei rabba medara. Me'olam, me'omayam, Yitzhara. Yitwara, Yishtabach, Yitpa'ari, Noman, V'yanaseh, Yitzhardar, Yitzhalevi, Yitzhala, Shmei Kedusha, Brechu, Le'ela min kor b'yachata, V'shir chata, Tush b'chata, V'ne'emata, Dami Rabbiama, V'yemeru, Amen. Come on up, Baruch, page 313. Rise as able.
Yeah,
Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Adonai, Amevorach, Amevorach, Leolam Vaed. Amevorach, Amevorach, Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. Page 313. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or u'varech hotach oseh shalom u'varech hakol, amir la'aretz v'le'arim alaha barachamim tuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reishit. Marabu masach Adonai kulam b'chokhmah asita mal'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha. Yitbarach Adonai Eloheinu otzelach maseh yadacha v'amoreh tasita yifaruch hasalah. Or Chadash al Tzion ha'ir, or Chadash al Tzion ha'ir, v'nizkeh kulanu mehera le'oro, Baruch atah Adonai, yotzer ha'me'oro. Page 316. Ahava Rabba Avkanu Adonai Eloheinu, Hamala Gedola Vetera, Kamalta Aleinu, Ba'avor Avotenu, Ve'imotenu, Shabbat Chuvecha, Shabbat Chuvecha, Shabbat Chuvecha, Batel Lamden Chukechayim, Hem Techanenu Lamdenu, Amirachem, Rachem Aleinu, Betem Belibenu Lehavin, Lehavinu Lehaskil, Lishmoa Lilmodu Lilamed, Lishmor Vela'asot, L'kayem et kol divrei Talmud Toratecha be'ahava. V'ha'erinenu b'toratecha, v'dabek beinu mitzvotecha, ויחד לבבינו, ואהבה ויראת שמך, ולא נבוש, ולא ניכלם, ולא ניכשל, לעולם ועד, כי בשם קודשך הגדול הנורא בטחנו, נגילה ונשמחה, נגילה ונשמחה בישועתך. והביאנו, והביאנו, והביאנו לשלום, מארבע כנפות הארץ, מארבע כנפות הארץ, ותוליכנו, ותוליכנו, ותוליכנו קוממיות, קוממיות לארצנו, קוממיות לארצנו. כי אל פועל ישועות אתה, ובנו בחרת מכל עם ולשון. כי אל פועל ישועות אתה, ובנו בחרת מכל עם ולשון. וקרבתנו לשמך הגדול, סלע באמת, להודות לך ליחדך באהבה. ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. Page 318, and Max and Maddie will.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Yahavta et Elohecha, v'kol avav, v'kol nafshecha, v'kol meodecha, v'hayu ha'adamim ha'el, asher Elohim mizarecha hayom ha'olecha, v'shinanta ma'alecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shitecha v'beitecha, v'ubetecha v'avarderech, v'shotpacha v'umecha, v'shartan v'ot al yadecha, v'hayu v'lokofim v'in'echa, v'tatam al mezuzot v'beitecha, v'yisharecha. L'man tiseru, v'asitem et mitzvotai, v'yitem kedoshim l'Eloheihem. Ani Adonai Eloheihem, asher hoseiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Eloheihem.
Read together in the English, page 321. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect.
Song of God's miracles, and earth protected and cherished, given for our children, in the generations to come. The song of the land once raised by the Lord, now quiet and content, for soldiers homes and to be no more. The song of the Lord redeemed, the song of peace.
322. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai these songs of freedom. Shira Hadasha, Shibechu Gehulim, Lishimcha, Al-Sufat Hayam, Yachad Kulam, Hudu ve'imlichu ve'amru, Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Vaed. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom, these songs of freedom, redemption song. Sur Yisrael, Kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, Ufdechinu mecha Yehuda ve'Yisrael. Go aleinu Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. Rise as able, page 323. Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi agidei latecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Banura, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot Bimahot, Umevi Gola Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Abraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayem Eitim et Harabot Shia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkei Al-Chayim Bechesed, Mechayem Eitim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Ve'Rofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umidol Melach, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Neman Atalach Hayom Metim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaMetim. 326. Nekadesh et Shimcha ba'olam, Geshem Shema Kishimo, Tobishme Marom, Hakatuv al Yad Neviacha, Vekaraza El Zeh Ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Melech kol haaretz, Kivodo. Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, Ma'adir, Shimcha b'chol haaretz. Baruch kevod Adonai nimkomo. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu, hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu, v'hu Yashmienu, v'rachamav le'enei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yemloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Yichzion, Ledor Vador, Hallelujah. Ledor Vador yigod lecha ula netzach netzachim kedushat panakdish v'shivtach Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Continue with the rest of the tefillah on our own through page 334, the Hebrew or the English, or your own private prayers or meditations. When you are finished, you may feel free to be seated. Oh, that's Say shalom bimroma, Huya say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel, bimru. Say shalom bimroma, Huya say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel, v'imru, amen. Ya la 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 la. Say shalom bimroma, Huya say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel, v'imru, amen. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la. Say shalom bimroma. say shalom aleichem. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. V'imru. Service for the reading from the Torah scroll begins on 362. And Max and Maddie, I'm going to have you guys come on up here with me. Please rise. Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai v'ein kamasacha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai osei amo yiten Adonai Yevarech et Amo V'Shalom Avarachamim Eitiv Avirtzon Ha'et Zion Tivnei Chomot Yerushalayim Tivnei Chomot Yerushalayim Tivecha Levad Batachnu Melech El Ram Ben Isa Adon Olami. Page 364. Imitzion Tetzei Torah. Imitzion Tetzei Torah. Udevar Adonai miYerushalayim. Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah. Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo. Gadol Adonai Iti Neroma Ma Shemo Yaakov. Adonai Hagidula Hagidura Hagidura Ve'anet Sadechavu Shamayim uvaretz Yehovah Shamayim uvaretz Lecha Adonai HaMamlacha Tamid Na'aseh Lechol Romamu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu Ve'ishtachavu Lahano Raglav Kadoshu Romamu Romamu Adonai Eloheinu Veishakabu Veishakabu Lahar Kodsho Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Please be seated. The central part of our Shabbat morning service is the reading from the Torah portion for the morning. Our portion this morning is Re'eh, which means see. And it happens as the Israelites are now 99% done their 40 years of wandering. They're on the boundary about to go into the promised land. And Moses, who has led them the entire time, will soon die. And he's preparing a transition to this new generation. So Moses is going to give them rules, going to give them teachings by which they can live when they enter into the land. He tells the story of how they got to where they are and gives them law that will sustain them. So we're going to start. Max is going to read first. He's going to be reading from Deuteronomy 14, verses 11 through 14. And he'll be reading a section that deals with birds, what birds are kosher and what birds are not kosher. And for the first Aliyah, we'd like to call up Max's grandfather, Ya'amol Ben Yosef Shoshana.
Who is Adonai Baruch?
Baruch Adonai Barak Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ramim V'Natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Nogein HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. For Tifurah Tohelu Vizeh Asher Lotohu Mehem Hanesher Vehaperes Vehazniya Vahara'ah Ve'taya'ah Ve'hadai Ya Namina Ve'tku Orev. Let me know.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torato Hamas V'chayei Olam Nota B'Sokenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen. before we continue with the next Aliyah, we're going to do a Mishaberach, a prayer for anyone in need of healing on this Shabbat. So I invite anyone who has, if you have names of people who you are holding in prayers for healing, I invite you, I'll look across and just raise your hand and speak the names of those who you are holding in prayers. So Maddie's going to lead us in the Mishaberach and the prayer for healing. Page 362. 371. Third time's the charm.
Mishaberach Avotenu Makor Habracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Makor Habracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We're going to continue with the second Aliyah, which will be chapter 14, verses 15 through 18. And for it, we're going to call up Max. Ya'amod, Ya'amod. Rachman Shmuel ben Moshe Pinchas Lemindel Abba for Habar Mitzvah Sheni.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu kohanim v'natan lanu et Torah. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ve'et ba'ataya anah ve'et hakachmas ve'et hashapat ve'et hanetz leminei et hakos ve'et hayamshuv ve'hatim shanet ve'hakaat ve'et harachama ve'et hashalah ve'hasita ve'hanafa lemina ve'et v'hadusifat ve'ha'atale. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Mishaberach, a blessing for Max on his bar mitzvah. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel V'Leah Yivarech et Rachman Shmuel ben Moshe Pinchas v'Mendele שהגיע למצוות ועלה היום לכבוד המקום, לכבוד התורה ולכבוד השבת. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמרהו ויחייהו ויכונן ליבו להיות שלם עם אדוני אלוהיו, להגות בתורתו, ללכת בדרכיו ולשמור מצוותיו, להיות אמיץ למצוא את ייעודו, להיות בן אדם אוהב ואהוב, ותנאהו היום ולכל יום, לכן חסו רחמים בנך ובני קוראיו, שלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיו. יהי רצון שיזכו הרב לגדלו לתורה, לחופה ולמעשים טובים, ונאמר אמן. May the one who blessed their ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless Max, who has been called to the Torah this morning upon reaching the age of mitzvot, with reverence for the Holy One, the Torah, and the festival, and the Shabbat. May the Holy One protect and sustain him. Help him to learn, to grow, to study Torah, fulfill mitzvot, and may he have the strength always to find his calling, to be a person who is both loving and beloved. May he find love and compassion today and every day, in your eyes and the eyes of all who see him. May his parents continue to rear him to maturity, guiding him to the blessing of the chuppah and to a life of good deeds. And let us say, Amen. For the third aliyah, we're going to turn to Maddie and we're going to move fast forward a little bit. We're now on Deuteronomy chapter 15, verses 12 through 15.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amin, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah. Amen. Kimaher ha ahicha chayvri, oh chayvriya, side bachashe shamin, ubashana hashvei, tishalhinu hashi, ima, vihi tishalhinu hashi, ve'ima, lo tishalhinu rekam, ane talmi, lo misoncha, mingarcha mitbecha, asher berecha. Adonai Elohecha titein lo v'zaharta ki evecha yita be'eretz Mitzrayim v'yivtecha Adonai Elohecha al ken anochi mitzabecha et hadavar hazeh hayom v'chaya kimachei lecha lo etzei me'ima ki apecha beitecha ki tov lo imach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. And the Mishaberach, a blessing for Maddie. Mishaberach Avotenu Abraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'Imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. Yivarech et take a fega But Moshe Pinchas v'Mendela Shigia leMitzvot v'Alta Hayom lichvod hamakom lichvod haTorah v'lichvod haShabbat. Hakadosh Baruch Hu yishmereha v'yichayeha v'yichanan liba liot shalem imar Adonai Eloheha v'agot b'Torato l'lechet b'drachav v'lishmor mitzvotav v'amitzav v'limtzo et Yehuda v'yot isha ohevet v'ahuva v'neha hayom v'chol yom lechem l'chasu rachamim b'necha v'nei kol roeha. Shlach bracha v'tzlacha b'chol ma'aseh yadaha yiratzon Yizku holecha legadla Torah lechupa l'masim tovim v'nomar amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless Maddie, who has been called up to the Torah upon reaching the age of mitzvot. Reverence for the Holy One, the Torah, and the Shabbat. May the Holy One sustain her and help her to be wholehearted in her learning, to learn Torah, to fulfill mitzvot. May she have the strength to find her calling and to be a person who is both loving and beloved. May she find love and compassion today and every day in your eyes and in the eyes of all who see her. May her parents continue to rear her to maturity, to a love of Torah, the blessing of the chuppah, and to a life of good deeds. And let us say, Amen. So I'd like to invite up to lift and to dress the Torah, Peyton Isberner and David Kaplan, and invite the congregation to please rise. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al yad Adonai b'yad Moshe. Eitz hayim achazikim ba v'tom ha'me'usha. Eitz hayim achazikim ba v'tom ha'me'usha. V'raheha darkei noam v'kol netivoteha shalom. V'raheha darkei noam v'kol netivoteha shalom. Yai lai lai yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai. Lai lai yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Please be seated. So for every reading from the Torah, there's a reading from the Haftarah. The Haftarah is a section from the prophets. And in this season, we have a series of readings from Isaiah that are about comfort. They bring us from Tisha B'Av, from the saddest day of the Jewish calendar, to Rosh Hashanah, to the promise of the new year. It's Isaiah 54, 11 through 55:5, and I'll chant after the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratzah b'divrei hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo ובנביאי האמת בצדק. יסורה לו נחמה, הנה אנוכי מרביץ בפוך אבנייך, והצדתיך בספיפים. ושמתי קודשים שותייך, ושערייך לאבני אקדח, וכל גבולך לאבני חפץ, וכל בנייך לימודי אדוני, ברב שלום בנייך, בצדקה תכונני, רחקי מעושק קולו תיראי, וממכתה כי לא תקרב אלייך. הן גור יגור אפס מאותי, ניגר איתך עלייך יפול. הנה אנוכי בראתי חרש, נופח באש פחם, ומוציא חליל למעשהו, ואנוכי בראתי, מהשחית לקבל. כל כלי יוצר עלייך לא יצלח, בכל לשון תקום מתך למשפט תרשיעי. זאת נחלת עבדי אדוני וצדקתם, me'iti ne'um Adonai. Come, all who are thirsty, come for water. Even if you have no money, come buy food and eat. Come buy food without money, wine and milk without cost. Why spend money for what is not bread? Why spend your wages for what does not satisfy? Listen well, and you shall eat what is good, and your soul shall delight in abundance. Open your ears and come to me, hearken, and you shall live. I will make an everlasting covenant with you, like the love I extended to David, as once I made him a witness to the world, a commander and a prince of nations. Ein goy lo teda tikra, v'goy lo yeda'ucha elecha yarutzu. Laman Adonai Elohecha Likadosh Yisrael Kifei Arach. So now you shall summon people who do not know, and people that do not know you shall come running to you, because of the eternal, the Holy One of Israel has given you glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Tzur kol ha'amim, tzadik b'chol ha'dorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer b'sem ha'devarim kein shkol devarav, emet v'tzedek. Ne'eman atah hu Adonai Eloheinu b'ne'emanim devarecha, b'devar echad midvarecha, achol lo yeshu brekam. Ki melech ne'eman v'rachaman atah, baruch atah Adonai, ha'el ha'ne'eman b'chol devarav. Rachem al Tzion ki beit chayinu, lalavet nefesh toshia b'meirav yameinu, baruch atah Adonai, mesameach Tzion bevaneha. Samcheinu Adonai Eloheinu b'Eliyahu nevi avdecha, malchut beit David v'shichecha, b'meira yavo v'yagel libeinu, ahol kiso lo yeshev zar, v'chalu orecharim et kabodo, yivashem kodshecha nishbata lo shelo yichbeni ro leolam ba'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen David, ala Torah, ala Bodav, ala Nevi'im, v'yom HaShabbat hazeh, shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu, l'kedusha v'lemenucha, lechavod u'letifaret, ala kol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach, u'mevarchim otach, yitbarach shimcha b'fi kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. It's 374 in the Siddur. Again, we rise as able. Hodu al eretz Vishamayim Vayaram Keren Le'amo Tehila Lechol Chasidav Livnei Yisrael Am Kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Ilekach tov natati lachem torati al kahazovu. Et chaim hi lemachzikim ba v'tomecha me'usha derachecha l'cheinu.
Muted now. Hello.
Kadesh Yameinu, Kadesh Yameinu,
Okay, folks, here we are. It's August. The Jewish New Year is just a few weeks away. And that means the Torah portion I read to you today comes from the last part of the Torah, the Book of Deuteronomy. Unfortunately, this last book of the Torah doesn't have all those great stories like they have in Genesis, the first book of the Torah. Genesis has Adam and Eve and Noah's Ark and Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Deuteronomy mostly just has laws, hundreds and hundreds of laws. My dad says Genesis is for celebrities, but Deuteronomy is for their lawyers. Some of these laws are very admirable, like pay workers a fair wage, be kind to strangers, and give food to the poor. Some of these laws are simply practical, like when thou cometh upon roadkill, don't eat it. Yeah, that's in there. Some of these laws are interesting, like a woman shall not marry her stepson. I guess back then, weird mother-son marriages were becoming a problem, so they had to make a law against it. And then we have my Torah portion. It's about slavery. Awkward. So awkward. For example, my Torah portion says, if a fellow Hebrew is sold to you, he shall serve you 6 years. Great. It also says, when you set him free, give him some of your stuff, because remember, you were once slaves in Egypt. Okay, how cringy is that? Rabbi Dan said, maybe that's the point, Maddie, to make us feel uncomfortable. We should talk about slavery because it makes us feel uncomfortable. So that's what I'm gonna do. In a recent survey, when high school students were asked why the South seceded from the US before the Civil War, only 8% knew it was because the South wanted to preserve slavery. Most of the students thought the South seceded from the US to protest taxes on their tea. Maybe if our schools were a little less concerned about making students feel uncomfortable and a little more concerned about teaching us the history of slavery in our country, we wouldn't confuse the Civil War with the Boston Tea Party. But learning about slavery in our country and especially the racism associated with it, has become very political. I know this from listening to my parents' friend, Alana Rubel. Alana is the minority leader of our Idaho House of Representatives. Apparently, some people think that forcing kids to learn about racism will make kids racist because, of course, we kids blindly embrace whatever we learn. Question: if forcing us to learn something makes us blindly embrace it, then how come I haven't embraced playing the piano, even though my parents have been forcing me to learn it for the last 5 years? And if you all blindly embrace what you learned as kids, wouldn't you all be using the metric system now? Maybe some people feel uncomfortable talking about racism because they know they haven't done enough to fix it. And maybe they would rather not think about that. As for us kids, we don't feel so uncomfortable talking about racism because we know that racism isn't our fault. It only becomes our fault if we do nothing about it. So maybe that's why they talk about slavery in the Bible, to make us uncomfortable, so that maybe we do something about it, because change never comes from feeling comfortable. It's like all those lazy marshmallow-shaped people on that cruise ship in the Pixar movie WALL-E. None of the marshmallow people cared that the ship was doomed, because the marshmallow people were too comfortable floating around on their hover chairs while constantly eating. It wasn't until the marshmallow people came back to Earth and had to deal with the discomfort of gravity that they evolved from lazy blobs into strong, productive people that changed things for the better. So I think the lesson of my Torah portion is that we should let our discomfort with slavery and racism evolve us into strong, productive people who change things for the better. Don't be a marshmallow. I'd like to thank my peeps for supporting me here today, and especially my out-of-town peeps who traveled all the way from Illinois, California, Nevada, Georgia, Missouri, Utah, and Arizona. I'd also like to thank Rachel, Lee, and Rabbi Dan. But most of all, I'd like to give a very special, warm thank you for the endless support, profound knowledge, and boundless inspiration I can always count on from my dear, dear Wikipedia. I love you, Wikipedia.
Who is ready to hear what my Torah portion is about? My Torah portion is about the kosher dietary laws, describing what you should and should not eat. The kosher laws acknowledge that eating is a good and essential thing, but it can also be harmful. Eating can help us or harm us, depending on what, how, and how much we eat. We can eat healthy foods in moderate amounts at a good pace. Or we can eat junk food way too much, way too quickly. But just as we should be mindful about what fills our belly, we should also be mindful about what fills our brain, especially when it comes to social media. Like food, social media can be either healthy or harmful, depending on what we consume and how much we consume. Examples of social media include Facebook, which my mom likes. She loves looking at pictures of cats. Cats talking. Cats napping. Cats drinking from toilets. Cats watching videos of birds, and cats taunting dogs. Cats riding on top of dogs. Cats wearing ridiculous outfits. You get the idea. Then there's Instagram. That's where people post pictures of their food. I don't know why people like to look at pictures of other people's food. And my personal favorite, TikTok, where you can spend hours watching hilarious videos of people eating gallons of mayonnaise. Social media can be good. It can provide a voice to those who are marginalized. It can help you find other people with similar interests. You can share pictures with your friends and family. But social media can also be bad. It can distort how we view ourselves in the world around us. For example, people often try to present their lives on social media in an artificial way to make their lives look better than ours. And social media can make us think that everyone is just like us and everyone agrees with us. And while it's great to be with people who think like us, it does not represent the world. So what can we do? Clearly, social media can serve many beneficial purposes. But like the kosher laws, we need to be mindful of what we consume and how much we consume. First, let's consider what we consume. We should read posts critically and understand who posted the content and why they might have posted it. We should always remember that just because our friends all think the same way we do, and we all agree with each other, not everyone in the world agrees with us. We also should try to make sure that the content we are posting and consuming is truthful, accurate, and is not harmful or hurtful to others. Most importantly, we must always remember to act with kindness. Second, let's consider how much we consume. As my dad always says, all things in moderation, Max. He usually says this as he's polishing off an entire bag of Dots pretzels. And I'm not talking about those dainty little single-serve bags in the checkout aisle. I'm talking about the big boy 2-pounders from the back of the store, baby. Sometimes I say, hey, Dad, maybe someone else wants pretzels. And he'll say, oh, sorry, Max, but they're just so good. What's in this stuff? In the Middle Ages, the Jewish philosopher Maimonides said the primary objective of kosher laws is to teach restraint, self-control, and moderation. I think we should apply the same philosophy of self-control to the consumption of social media as well. So when it comes to social media, let's keep it kosher, folks. Before I conclude today, I want to thank everyone for joining us this morning, especially those who have traveled from out of state. I'd also like to thank my teachers, Lee, Amy, Janet, Rachel, and Rabbi Dan for helping me prepare for today. I'd also like to remember my grandfather, Larry Cooper, who is no longer with us, and my grandmother, Bonnie Kaplan, who was unable to be with us today. Again, thank you for all being a part of this special day.
Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Yehelanu, 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 Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov. So Maddie and Max, mazel tov to both of you. You have, as you have each noted in your own Devar, you've taught us from a portion that is in some ways more challenging than those celebrity portions in Genesis. But your portion happens at a moment that is so much in sync with where we are. Your portion happens as the Israelites have been in the wilderness for 40 years. And they're getting ready to go into the promised land, but they're not yet sure when, and they don't know what it's going to look like. And there's a lot of uncertainty. Who will be the leader? What will guide them? Your Bat and Bar mitzvahs happen on this first Shabbat that we are officially back together, live and in person as a community. So there's a lot to celebrate. We can kind of see the promised land, but we too are in a time when there's a lot of uncertainty and we don't really know what lies ahead. So now, as in the time of your portion, we need leadership. We need leaders who can teach by example, who can bring kindness, as you both spoke of, who know the virtues of moderation, and who have the ability to talk about difficult things, like racism, who have the courage to address that which some would prefer to sweep under the rug. And so with your words and with your teaching and with the way that you lead us with strength and with humor and with compassion, you set an example for all of us as we look to go forward in the coming weeks and months. May you always be Yisrael, the people of Israel, which means those who wrestle with God, who don't just take the easy parts, but who wrestle with the hard parts, because that's what it is to lead in difficult times. We need you to lead the way. We need leaders in these times. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine on both of you and be gracious to you. May God's face be raised up to each of you and give you the blessings of wholeness and of peace. Let us say, Amen. Make a presentation on behalf of our congregation for each of you. We have certificates and gifts, and I'd like to invite up our teen group advisor and our congregational immediate past president, Amy Duquet and Rachel Pichette, and welcome you into our community.
Right. Mazel tov to both of you. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I'd like to welcome everyone to Congregation of Hava Beth Israel, whether you're here in person or watching on your stream at home. What a wonderful morning I'd like to offer my very sincere congratulations to David and Elisa and to Maddie and Max. We're all very proud of you. You made the whole community very proud of you today. And we have a few things for you. You're each going to have a certificate that you can use to remember this very special occasion, and also a Kiddush cup for each of you, so that as you go forward in your life and use it on Shabbat evenings, you'll think of Kathy and take us with you wherever you go and make us part of your holiday observances. So we can leave them here to the end, but that's what these are. And I just want to say that it's such an honor to be able to be here today to welcome you officially to our community as full members. And also what an honor it was to be a teacher this year along with Janet in our philanthropy class. And you guys made us laugh today and you taught us things, and it's just been a fantastic experience. Thank you so much, and mazel tov to both of you. If it weren't COVID, I would give you both a hug. And I'd like to thank everyone for cooperating with our mask policy. We're very new to this opening thing, but we're trying to make it as safe as possible for everyone. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Hi. So my name's Rachel. My husband and I are the co-advisors of the team group. I also had the honor of being Max and Maddie's tutor for today, so this is extra special. Good job. So I'd like to officially welcome you to the team group. So as now you are officially full-fledged adults in the Jewish community, it means you get to join the team group where instead of us telling you what to do, y'all get to call the shots and decide what you want it to look like. So we have a lot of fun, and I'm so excited to have you both be joining us next year. These are just 2 t-shirts to, as a little token of our excitement to have you on board. But mazel tov, we're so proud of you, and we're so excited to continue learning and growing and having fun Jewishly with you next year. So, thanks to you both.
Concluding part of our service, Max is going to wire you up again, and Max is going to lead us with Elenu, for which we rise as able, and continue on page 586.
Lady Leshabeach Ladon Hakol Matekudral Yosef Breshit Shalo Asanu Kigayeha Rasot Velo Samanu Nifach Adama Shalo Sanko Kenu Kahem Vegora Lenu Vohamunam Naku Kore Umisakavi Modim Yifnei Melech, Yifnei Hamatim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shechunot Shamayim v'Yosei Haaretz, U'Moshe Hara b'Shamayim Imayo, Ushinatuzo, v'Yotei Meromim, Eloheinu Eino. Eloheinu Zulato, Kakatu, Betonato, Yitatayim, Bashana, Elevadata, Yadonai, Hu Elohim, Pashamayim, Mara, Yaharet, Nitahat, Nema, Haya Adonai, Lemelech al kol haaretz, Beyom hahu, Yeher Adonai echad, Ushemo echad.
Please be seated. We think now of our loved ones, of those who have died at this season in years past, those who have died recently, all those we have drawn into our hearts together with our own. I invite anyone who has names of people who you are holding in your prayers for Kaddish. Again, I'll look across the congregation, and if you have someone you are especially remembering this morning, please feel free to share.